Do you remember the summer season 2 years ago? Year 2022. Look at this article, it was called the hottest summer ever. That year was so hot even it broke the 122-year-old record, but then came the summer of 2023. In 2023, the summer season was so scorching hot even scientists said that it was the hottest summer in the last 2,000 years in the northern hemisphere of Earth. But then we come to the year 2024. January 2024, hottest January ever recorded. February 2024, hottest February ever recorded. March 2024, hottest March ever recorded. April 2024, hottest month ever recorded. The last 11 months on Earth have been record-breaking in terms of heat. The scorching heat that you have to bear today is not normal. And you are not alone. Last month, in entire Southeast Asia, record-breaking heat waves have been seen. Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, everywhere, there was such unbearable temperatures. In the Philippines, the heat index had crossed 53 degrees Celsius. Global warming and climate change are the main reasons behind all this. But are they the only reasons? No. In this video, let's understand the two other reasons that are causing this and what is the solution at the local level and what can we do to avoid this heat. First, we need to understand that such extreme weather events are not only seen in Pakistan or Asia, but also in every corner of the world. What happened in South America this month? Watch this news. At least 83 people are dead after days of heavy rain in southern Brazil and more than 100 are missing. Another 123,000 people that have been displaced by floods. There were devastating floods in Brazil in which more than 150,000 people were displaced. Entire cities were submerged. What is happening in South Africa? We are witnessing a terrible drought. The southern African region is experiencing a severe drought with many families unable to cater for their daily needs like food. I just spoke with some of the elders from the community and the last time they can remember this type of drought is 1947. So this is not a normal circumstance. A drought unparalleled in the past several decades. That's why many southern African countries have requested $5.5 billion from the rest of the world to prevent a situation of starvation. There is one weather event behind all this destruction which is considered the biggest cause. El Niño. It is a natural cycle of the Earth's climate that is seen every 5 to 7 years, but due to climate change, it is becoming more extreme year after year. The full name of this cycle is El Niño Southern Oscillation. In short, it is called ENSO. According to the WHO, this is the second biggest cause that changes the climate of the Earth, and on the first place is the relationship between the Earth and the Sun, Earth's revolution around the Sun, which causes the seasons to change. Winter following summer and summer following winter, but after that effect, El Niño has the second biggest impact. What is El Niño? It's something that can be seen in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the world's largest and deepest ocean, lying between Asia and the Americas. Imagine, this ocean is like a bathtub, water keeps moving from one side to another. When you move your hand in the tub, the water sloshes from one side to another and then gets back to the first point. Similarly, winds blow over the Pacific Ocean flowing from east to west. These winds are called trade winds, and most of the time, they move from the Americas to the direction of Asia and Australia because it's based on Earth's rotation. You must have read about the Coriolis effect in school. Since Earth rotates from west to east, due to this Coriolis effect, the trade winds flow in the opposite direction. Due to this, normally, the water on the surface of Pacific Ocean starts flowing towards west. It means it starts flowing towards Australia, and when the water on the surface starts flowing in that direction, in the east, the water below the surface level of the sea starts rising to the surface. That is, near South America, the water from the depths of the sea rises towards the surface. This is called upwelling. The water that rises from the depths of the ocean is much colder comparatively and has more nutrients because of this. Fish and marine life also benefit. So in this normal situation, the hot water goes to Australia and the cold water came to South America. When water is hot, it evaporates more easily, and because of that evaporation, clouds are formed and more rain is seen near Australia. But now, imagine that these trade winds have weakened. These winds are not flowing as strongly over the Pacific Ocean. What will happen? The upwelling will be weak, it will be almost non-existent. The hot water on the surface will consistently remain hot. The clouds that were supposed to bring rain to Australia can rain anywhere over the Pacific Ocean. So the Australia region will become very dry. This is the phenomenon of El Niño, which is like a regular cycle, but this is not a regular cycle. Sometimes it happens every 4 years, sometimes after 5 years, sometimes after 7 years, but when El Niño happens, it lasts for 6 to 12 months, and during the El Niño, the weather patterns of the world change. In Australia and Southeast Asia, it causes higher temperatures and drier weather conditions. The risk of heat waves increases, and the wildfires that took place in Australia, you might remember the violent Australian wildfires of 2020, even that was caused by this El Niño. The last El Niño event was in 2018-19, which lasted till January 2020. This is why the bushfires in Australia happened in December 2019. Since then, today, from January 2023 till now, another El Niño is in effect. The interesting thing here is that in South America, El Niño has the opposite effect as it has in Asia and Australia. That is, it rains more there. The risk of floods increases. This is why today we see many devastating floods in Brazil. Now, apart from this, there is an opposite phenomenon of El Niño, which is La Niña. Both these words are from Spanish. El Niño means the boy and La Niña means the girl. The normal conditions of the Pacific Ocean, as I told you, normally, if they go to extremes, then the La Niña effect is seen. What does this mean? The trade winds blowing towards the west start moving strongly in that direction. Because of this, colder water flows to South America and hotter water flows towards Australia, and it starts raining more in Australia due to La Niña. La Niña's events usually last longer. They can last for 1 to 4 years. After the El Niño of 2018-19, when La Niña came in 2020-21, it became so extreme that it caused flooding in Australia. It rained so heavily in Australia. You can see the news from March 2021, floods in Australia. You can see this interesting chart on the screen. This graph depicts the El Niño and La Niña events that took place over the last 30 years. The red peaks are the El Niño events, and the higher it is, the stronger the El Niño event was. The strongest El Niño event till date was seen in 2015-16. After that was the 1997-98 event, followed by the current 2023-24 event. On the other hand, the blue trenches are the La Niña events. The latest was in 2020-21, which went on all the way up to January 2023. Before this, the strongest La Niña was in 1999 to 2000. If you zoom in on the latest time, you will see that the graph of El Niño is going down again. Scientists believe that La Niña can start by July to August. How will this impact Asia? Asia's monsoon can be better than average this year. Last year, in the rainy season of 2023, there wasn't a lot of rain because of El Niño. El Niño is a big reason why the summers of 2023 and 2024 were very hot, because of which droughts were seen in southern African countries. Even the heavy rains and floods in Dubai were caused by it to some extent. Scientists believe that climate change caused by humans is making the El Niño effect more extreme. That is why floods caused by El Niño are becoming more dangerous. Heat waves are becoming more and more violent. In the last 2 years, Pakistan has experienced significant fluctuations in weather patterns. For example, in the summer of 2022, Karachi recorded temperatures reaching up to 42 degrees Celsius with high humidity. This is the criteria used by the Pakistan Meteorological Department, PMD, to declare heat waves and explores the unique challenges faced by Karachi due to its coastal location. The PMD follows specific guidelines to declare a heat wave according to their criteria. A heat wave is declared if temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius in the plains, 37 degrees Celsius in coastal areas, and 30 degrees Celsius in the mountains. If the temperature remains 45 degrees Celsius above the normal for 2 consecutive days, a heat wave is announced. A severe heat wave is declared if temperatures are 64 degrees Celsius above normal for 2 consecutive days. Additionally, if the temperature surpasses 45 degrees Celsius, a heat wave is automatically declared, regardless of other conditions. While these thresholds focus primarily on temperature, they do not fully account for the impact of humidity on human comfort and health. This difference in humidity levels is why 38 degrees Celsius in Karachi can feel much worse than 45 degrees Celsius in Jacobabad. High humidity prevents sweat from evaporating quickly, hindering the body's natural cooling mechanism and making it harder to cope with the heat. This effect is compounded in densely populated urban areas where concrete and asphalt contribute to the urban heat island effect, trapping more heat. The more humidity there is in the air, the more difficult it is to tolerate higher temperatures. But what really is humidity? Humidity means the maximum moisture content in the air at a particular temperature. 100% relative humidity means that air is completely saturated at a certain temperature. It is holding as much moisture as it possibly can and cannot hold any more. The thing is, the hotter the air is, the more is its capacity of retaining moisture. Hot air can hold more moisture as compared to cold air. This means that if the relative humidity of cold air and hot air is at 100%, hot air will have more moisture, and as the humidity increases, the more difficult it becomes for our body for the sweat on our body to evaporate. And sweating, as you know, is the #1 way for our body to keep us cool. If it's really hot and there's high humidity, we will not be able to sweat and our body will not be able to keep itself cool. That can be lethal for us. This is why it is important to consider both temperature and humidity. And one metric that considers both of these things together is the heat index. Heat index tells us how hot the weather outside will feel for us. On your phone's weather app, you would have noticed the temperature in Karachi might be written as 31 degrees Celsius, with the feels like 37 degrees Celsius beside it. In some apps, it is written as real feel. This feels like indicator is computed from the heat index. On this chart, you can see the various temperature levels and various relative humidity, and their corresponding heat index. If the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius and the relative humidity is 50%, then it will feel like 41 degrees Celsius, but if at the same temperature, the relative humidity is at 75%, then it will feel like a dangerous 53 degrees Celsius, and this comes under the red category, which means extreme danger. On this heat index, you have a high chance of getting a heat stroke or a sunstroke. This is why the latest heat wave in the Philippines was so dangerous and deadly, because the heat index there had reached 53 degrees Celsius. Those who do not know this may look at the actual temperature of only 40 degrees Celsius or 41 degrees Celsius, thinking that it's not very high, but it is very important to pay attention to the heat index, because even for the heat index of 32 degrees Celsius to 41 degrees Celsius, you need to take extreme caution. If you spend a lot of time in the sun or do any physical activity, it is possible to get a heat stroke. We hear cases where people lose their lives due to the heat, due to a heat wave. According to heat index, how bearable it is to stay outside. It becomes intolerable by June end because by then the rainy season is about to start and the humidity increases. Although the situation has worsened to an extent that in Sindh, the heat index is touching 50 degrees Celsius. And according to this report, over the next few days, it can reach as high as 56 degrees Celsius. Now apart from this, there is another effect which increases the impact of heat waves' impact on a local level. An effect whose solution is much easier than all other effects. The urban heat island effect. In different areas of a city, some places are hotter and some are colder. You must have noticed this too. At places with more trees, like parks or any other place, the temperature is relatively more comfortable there compared to other areas, and the areas with only big concrete buildings, tall glass buildings, 8-lane highways, asphalt-covered ground, these places are way hotter. These places are known as urban heat islands, and there is a very simple reason behind it. The glass and concrete in buildings, asphalt on roads, all of these absorb heat. They absorb the sunlight. When a city is covered with concrete, there is no proper ventilation or air circulation. So, what happens is that heat is absorbed throughout the day. The air does not circulate much, and at night, the absorbed heat is released out into the air. This effect was studied in the world, and it was found that the places where this urban heat island effect is present are mostly no green areas. These places are 3 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius hotter, as compared to the places with more trees. Think about it. 7 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius, it's such a huge difference. This tells you the importance of trees. And this is why I say that having a web of roads in any city should not be an indicator of development. Do we really need more highways? Do we really need double highways? Do we need double airports? Because to build these highways, many forests need to be cut down. There are many such highways that go through the middle of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Laying down concrete and asphalt in cities and broadening the roads is not real development, in my opinion. In my opinion, development means that people have proper walkable places. Cities should be designed where the temperature outside is comfortable, there is enough greenery, that people can walk to where they need to go. Cars should be used as little as possible because cars also release heat, which increases the urban heat island effect. In a city, if there are more places where cars are completely banned, it would be better for people. This is something that most developed countries are starting to understand. Look at the transformation in Paris. The government there has banned cars from the city on a large scale, removed the asphalt and planted trees, promoted cycling. All this to reduce the intensity of the urban heat island effect. And people have a comfortable temperature to live in the city so that people can walk from one place to another. Promoting public transport as an alternative is very important. Look at this article on Yale University's website. If you paint your roof of your house white, then it will make a difference of 2 degrees Celsius to 3 degrees Celsius, because dark colors absorb sunlight and white color reflects sunlight. And this isn't applicable only for cities, it is equally applicable for rural areas too. Another alternative can be to plant greenery on the roof, plant grass or grow trees. And apart from this, obviously, governments will need to focus on making cities greener. More trees, more parks, so that the impact of heat waves can be minimized, but we will have to implement all these solutions as soon as possible, because in the near future, these heat waves are going to get more dangerous and more impactful. In a recent future projections for the tropical ocean study, it showed that in a few years, we will see almost permanent marine heat waves in the Pacific Ocean. By 2050, in many areas, heat waves will last for 220 to 250 days a year. If you found this video informative, then do subscribe for more informative videos. Thank you very much.